My girlfriend screamed, "You're holding me back. I want to live my own life." I smiled and said, "Then fly. Just remember, not every flight finds its way back." That night, I erased everything. Her number, every trace, gone. A week later, her friend texted me, "Did you really let her go?" Because she never came back. I'm 38, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life figured out. Sarah and I had been together for 4 years. We met at a charity gala. She was volunteering. I was there because my company sponsored the event. She had this energy about her, this spontaneous spark that made everything feel lighter. I'd been divorced for 2 years when we met, still carrying baggage, still cautious. She made me believe in second chances. The fight happened on a Tuesday night. I remember because I just finished a brutal quarterly review at work and came home exhausted. Sarah was pacing in our living room, her suitcase half-packed on the couch. Not unusual. She traveled for her marketing job, but something felt different. "We need to talk," she said, not looking at me. I set down my briefcase. "Okay, what's going on?" "I can't do this anymore, Marcus. I feel suffocated. You're always working, always tired, and when you're not, you're just here, existing. I'm 32 years old, and I feel like I'm living my mother's life." I tried to stay calm. "Sarah, we've talked about this. I know I've been busy, but it's temporary. The promotion comes through next month, and it's not about the promotion." Her voice cracked. "It's about me. I have dreams, Marcus. I want to travel, explore, meet new people. I want to feel alive again. You travel constantly for work, and nothing's stopping you from. You're stopping me. You're holding me back. I want to live my own life." Something in me went cold. Not angry, just empty. I'd heard these words before from my ex-wife, right before she left me for her yoga instructor. That same entitled tone, like I was some anchor dragging her down instead of the person who'd supported every single one of her career moves, who'd covered rent when her company delayed paychecks, who'd canceled trips because she needed me. I smiled, genuinely smiled. "Then fly, Sarah. Just remember, not every flight finds its way back." She blinked, clearly expecting me to fight harder. "That's it. You're not even going to try." "Try what? To convince you I'm worth staying for? If you don't see it by now, you never will." She grabbed her suitcase. "I'm staying at Madison's tonight. We'll figure out the apartment later." "Take your time," I said, already pulling out my phone. She left. The door closed, and I spent the next 3 hours methodically erasing 4 years. Blocked her number, removed her from social media, deleted photos, changed locks. Our lease was in my name anyway. Boxed up her remaining stuff and arranged for a storage unit pickup. By midnight, it was like she'd never existed in my space. Update 1. The first week was weirdly peaceful. I worked late, hit the gym, reconnected with friends I'd neglected. My buddy Jason came over Friday night with beer and pizza. "Dude, you seem good?" he said, confused. "I am good." She wanted out, she got out. No drama. "That's not normal, man. For years, and you're just cool." I shrugged. "What's the alternative? Beg someone to stay who clearly doesn't want to be here?" I did that dance with Michelle. Never again. What I didn't tell Jason was that I'd already started hearing things. Sarah's friend group overlapped with mine, and word travels. Apparently, she'd been spending a lot of time with some guy named Brett from her office. 26, rock climber, drove a Jeep. The cliché was almost funny. Then, 6 days after she left, I got a text from Madison, Sarah's best friend, and, ironically, someone I'd considered a friend too. "Marcus, we need to talk. Can you call me?" I didn't call. I texted back. "If this is about Sarah, there's nothing to discuss." "Did you really let her go?" "Because she never came back." I stared at that message for a solid minute. "What do you mean never came back?" "She went to Tahoe with Brett last weekend. They were supposed to be back Tuesday. She's not answering calls. Brett's roommate says he hasn't seen him either." I'm getting worried. My first thought was that this wasn't my problem anymore. My second thought was that Madison wouldn't text me unless she was genuinely scared. I called her. "Marcus, thank God." She answered immediately. I didn't know who else to contact. Her parents are in Europe and, slow down. Start from the beginning. Madison explained that Sarah had been seeing Brett for about 2 months. She didn't cheat, Madison insisted, though I wasn't sure I believed that timeline. They'd planned this spontaneous trip to Tahoe. Hiking, camping, the whole adventurous thing Sarah apparently craved. They were supposed to return Tuesday. It was now Friday night. No one had heard from either of them. Have you contacted the police? I asked. They said it hasn't been long enough for adults. But Marcus, this isn't like her. She always checks in. She left me 6 days ago screaming about living her own life, Madison. Checking in was apparently too constraining. I know you're hurt, but please. I'm scared something happened. Against my better judgment, I started making calls. I contacted the resort they'd stayed at. They'd checked out Monday morning as planned. I called the local ranger station, described their vehicle, asked about trail closures or incidents. Nothing. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I used a buddy in IT to track Sarah's last phone location. It pinged near a trailhead Tuesday morning, then went dark. Update 2. By Saturday afternoon, I'd driven to Tahoe myself. I'm not sure why. Maybe curiosity, maybe residual concern, maybe just needing closure. I met with local search and rescue, showed them photos, gave them details. They were polite, but not particularly worried. Young couples go off-grid all the time up here, the ranger said. Probably just extended their trip. Phone died. But I knew Sarah. She was spontaneous, not reckless. And her car was still parked at the trailhead, covered in a week's worth of pine needles. They organized a search for Sunday morning. I joined, alongside Madison, who'd driven up overnight, Brett's roommate, and about 15 volunteers. We split into groups, covering different trail sections. The weather had been clear all week. No storms, no obvious hazards. We found them Tuesday afternoon. Not together. That was the weird part. Sarah was found first, about 4 miles up a moderate trail, sitting against a tree like she was resting. She was dehydrated, mildly hypothermic, but alive. Couldn't really explain where she'd been or what happened. She kept saying she got turned around, and Brett had gone to get help. They found Brett 3 hours later, another mile deeper into the woods. Same condition, same confusion. The paramedics said they were both suffering from exposure and dehydration, but something else too. Their stories didn't match, their timelines made no sense, and they both had this weird, distant look. At the hospital, Sarah saw me and started crying. Marcus, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't have much to say. You're safe. That's what matters. Please, can we talk? I made a mistake. I want to come home. Madison pulled me aside. The doctors think maybe they ate something, some kind of mushroom or plant that caused disorientation. They're running tests. Or maybe they just realized playing wilderness adventurers isn't as romantic as Instagram makes it look. Update 3. Sarah called me 17 times over the next 3 days. I didn't answer. She showed up at my apartment Thursday evening. I watched through the doorbell camera as she knocked, called out, finally sat down in the hallway and cried. I opened the door. Sarah, you need to leave. Please, just 5 minutes. I was wrong about everything. He's a child, Marcus. He panicked out there, left me alone, and when I found him he was just sitting there crying. You would never have done that. You're right. I wouldn't have. But you'll never know for sure now, will you? I was scared and stupid, and I thought I wanted something different. But what I want is you. Is us. I leaned against the doorframe. Here's the thing, Sarah. When you left, you didn't just walk out on me. You walked out on 4 years of trust. And I can't just flip that back on because you had a bad weekend with some guy. It wasn't just a bad weekend, it was terrifying. We could have died out there. You made a choice. You chose him, chose living your life, chose to leave. Those choices have consequences. You don't get to undo them because things didn't work out how you imagined. She wiped her face. So that's it. You're really done. I was done the moment you said I was holding you back. Everything after that is just confirmation. She left. I closed the door and realized I didn't feel angry or sad or vindicated. Just tired. Final update. It's been 6 weeks now. I heard through Madison that Sarah moved back in with her parents temporarily. Brett apparently quit his job and moved to Colorado. Guess he finally got that adventure lifestyle he wanted. Sarah sent me one final text apologizing and saying she understood if I never wanted to speak again. I didn't respond. The weirdest part? I found out from a mutual friend that Sarah had been talking about feeling stuck for months before our fight. She'd been planning this exit, cultivating this thing with Brett, building up her narrative about me being the problem. The spontaneous outburst was calculated, rehearsed even. She'd told Madison weeks earlier she was thinking about leaving. So yeah, she wanted to fly. And she did. She just didn't expect the landing to hurt so much. Meanwhile, I'm here, rediscovering what it means to not be someone's safety net. dating casually, focusing on myself, learning that letting go isn't giving up. It's just refusing to chase someone who's already running away. Edit 1. For everyone asking about the toxicology reports, they came back clean. No mushrooms, no substances. The doctors think they just panicked, got disoriented, and mild dehydration made it worse. Basically, two unprepared people bit off more than they could chew. Edit 2. No, I don't feel bad for not taking her back. Some of you are saying I should have fought harder or given her another chance. I spent my entire first marriage fighting to keep someone who didn't want to stay. I'm not doing that again. Edit 3. Someone asked if I ever loved her. Of course I did. That's exactly why I let her go when she asked. Love isn't holding someone hostage to your feelings. But it also isn't taking someone back just because their backup plan failed.